Here's the Sigma 18 to 35 zoom lens for the Canon mount. And this is amazing lens, and I got this for my 70D, which I'm shooting on right now. And I wanted to talk about the CineMorph mod filter that Vignetting makes specifically for the Sigma 18 to 35. So I'm really fascinated by the anamorphic look for video, and I can't afford an anamorphic lens because those are too expensive. I don't want to use those old school anamorphic adapters or those modified anamorphic lenses from the 70s, because that's just too much crap to put on the lens, and the focus is crazy, that the crop is often not the kind of crop that I like, or the aspect ratio. So these filters from Vignetting, I've had the one that goes in front of the lens, and this is a simple idea of just putting this oval shape and the line through, and that creates the aesthetics, some of the aesthetic qualities of a anamorphic lens, such as lens flare and the bokeh being horizontal, vertical instead of rounded. So Vignetting came up with a pretty cool solution or invention of putting this in the back, and there's these 3 screw mounts, 1, 2, 3, that you screw it on. It's a very thin adapter. I'll take it off in a second and show you just the filter itself. It's really thin, and this goes on the back of the Canon. Now here is the CineMorph adapter. It's like a potato chip, very thin. And supposedly, the selling factor with this setup is that you could use you can get the bokeh and the lens flare that used to be limited to like a 50mm plus focal length. Now you get it throughout the entire focal range of 18 to 35mm on a crop sensor. This will not work on a full frame. But on a crop sensor, you get 18 to 35mm crop equivalent, and that you could not get before with these kinds of adapters. There are some drawbacks in using this filter. On the Vignetting site, they say in the FAQ that their filters, they drop about 1 stop of light in the lens, which shouldn't be too much of an issue with this one, since this is a 1.8 throughout the entire zoom range. So that makes it a 2.8 with this adapter on, with this filter on. And that's not too bad, so that's still pretty good. However, even though you get the entire zoom range, what they don't tell you is that your f-stops are very limited. The more you stop down the lens, the more you see the bokeh, the more you see the vignette, the oval shape, and you get heavy vignette on the sides. And now I have the Sigma 18 to 35mm with the CineMorph mod attached, and I am at ISO 400 and a 1.8 f-stop. I'm now going to zoom to 35mm. I'm at 18 right now, and I'm going to go to 35. There we go, 35mm. Better focus on that lens. And that's the lens I was using earlier. I'm going to zoom back out. So as you can see on the edges, there's no vignette. And you can see the anamorphic lens flare. Now I'm going to start to go down with the f-stop. This is a 2. This is a 2.2, 2.5, 2.8, 3.2, 3.5, 4.0. You can see the heavy vignette. 4.5, 5.0, 5.6, 6.3, 7.1. You can clearly see the heavy vignette now, and I'm going to up the ISO so it'll be more obvious what the vignette is doing. So now I'm at a 1250 ISO, and you can see how heavy this vignette is. I mean, you could shoot like this if you wanted to go for an intentional stylistic choice, but generally you don't want this. Now if I go in from 18, I'm going to zoom in now. Now I'm at a 24, and now I'm going to go to a 28, and then a 35 to its max. And you can see with the max zoom at 35, the vignette is pretty much gone, but that's it. You have to stay at 35. Once you go back to 28, you start seeing that vignette. And then the further the further wide you go, the more vignette you see. Now I'm going back up. 3.5, 3.2, 2.8, 2.5, 2.0. Oh, I'm overexposed. 1.8. All the vignette is gone throughout the entire zoom range. Using this in video is fine on video mode as long as you keep your f-stop in that range to avoid the vignette. It looks exactly as advertised. However, when you want to shoot stills, that's when this filter destroys this lens. The image quality on the stills severely degrades, especially with the focus. And if you're not shooting in manual or aperture priority to control that heavy vignette, like for example, if you just shoot it on automatic, you're going to get heavy vignetting on this lens because it's going to automatically stop down to f4 or 8. And the pictures become, in my opinion, unusable with this filter. So by killing the stills capability of this lens by applying this filter, it's really hard for me to decide the value of this. When I put it on in the right conditions, it looks amazing, but the limitations it adds to the Sigma lens now, I don't think is worth it. The value of keeping this on. And this was $50, and this is all it came with. Now, was this worth $50? Yeah, I guess so. There's nothing else like it on the market. Am I happy I tried it? Yes, I am happy I tried it. Did the video quality look okay with this as advertised? Yes, it does. But the drawbacks that I was not expecting, making my Sigma lens pretty much unusable in stills mode, was not something I really liked. So I think I'm going to keep this off until I have a specific use for it for a project.